Now, like the epiglottis, the pharynx and larynx are also parts of the digestive system and the respiratory system. The pharynx is a tube that connects the nasal and oral cavities to the larynx, and the larynx, also known as the voice box, as I've said before, is used to generate sound for speech. The uvula is used for speech clarification and preventing food from entering the breathing passage. And last on our list of major respiratory organs is the ribs. The ribs protect the lungs and expand as you inhale to make space for the lungs to expand. The ribs then contract, expelling air out of the lungs. Now that we've touched on the major organs of the respiratory system, we're going to take a little time to talk about breathing. Breathing is controlled by the brainstem in the medulla oblongata. Breathing is important for homeostasis because it controls the amount of oxygen and carbon dioxide in our blood by putting carbon dioxide into the lungs so it leaves the body when we exhale. The chemoreceptor is a sensory organ which controls how long we are able to hold carbon dioxide in our lungs before more oxygen is needed. That's all we're going to get into for breathing because we have more to talk about. Now, we're going to talk about cellular, internal, and external respiration. Cellular respiration is the process in which a cell breaks down sugar or other nutrients to release energy used for cellular work. Internal respiration is the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide between blood cells in different tissues of the body. And finally, external respiration, or breathing, is the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide between a person and his or her environment. Special organs such as the lungs are needed for this type of respiration. Well, look at that. We're halfway done the presentation. Thank you for sticking through it, and next we will be talking about the circulatory system. Now, for the circulatory system, we don't need to talk about the major organs, but we do need to talk about blood vessels. Now, there are three types of blood vessels: arteries, veins, and capillaries. Arteries are muscular tubes that carry oxygenated blood from the left ventricle of the heart to the capillaries and to the rest of the body. The walls of the arteries are thicker than the other vessels, and they do not have any valves because of the high pressure in them. The veins are thin, rubbery tubes that carry deoxygenated blood from capillaries to the heart to be reoxygenated. The veins increase in size as they progress towards the heart. Veins have valves in them to prevent the black flow of blood because the pressure in them is not high enough to keep blood flowing fast enough. Arteries appear red in color because they have oxygen-rich blood, and veins appear blue in color because their blood lacks oxygen. And the last type of blood vessel are capillaries. The capillaries are the smallest working unit in the blood vessels. They connect the arterioles to the venules. The capillaries receive oxygenated blood from the arteries and transport the blood to every cell in the body. Many materials are transported between cells and capillaries, such as carbon dioxide, oxygen, hormones, nutrients, and nitrogenous wastes. Now that you know about the types of blood vessels, we can move on to the cardiac cycle. The cardiac cycle is a cycle of events that occurs as the heart contracts. There are two phases of the cardiac cycle: the diastole phase and the systole phase. In the diastole phase, the heart ventricles are relaxed and the heart fills with blood. In the systole phase, the ventricles contract and pump blood into the arteries. And last but not least to talk about in this portion of my presentation is blood pressure. Blood pressure is a measurement of the force applied against the walls of the arteries as the heart pumps blood through the body. The pressure is determined by the force and amount of blood pumped and the size and flexibility of the arteries. A reading consists of two numbers, for example, 112/77. 90/60 is generally considered to be normal in adults. The first number, which is systolic blood pressure, measures the maximum pressure exerted as the heart contracts. The lower number indicates Diastolic pressure, a measurement taken between beats when the heart is at rest. Now let's talk about factors of blood pressure and heart health. Sudden stress increases the pumping action and rate of the heart, while at the same time causing the arteries to constrict, which restricts blood flow to the heart. Like all muscles, the heart becomes stronger as a result of exercise, so it can pump more blood through the body with every beat and continue working at a maximum level if needed with less strain. Diuretics can be used to treat high blood pressure, heart failure, and edema. Anabolic steroids can cause unnatural enlargement of the heart. In one case, a 20-year-old steroid abuser collapsed and died during a workout. The autopsy revealed an enlarged heart with areas of dead heart muscle tissue, which is not good. Well, that's it for the circulatory system. Just one more system to go, and it is the excretory system. Now, since we're going to be talking about excretion, let's talk about the different organs in the entire body that perform excretion. The kidneys excrete a variety of waste products. These include urea and uric acid. The kidney maintains homeostasis by regulating water balance. The lungs expel carbon dioxide. The lungs help maintain homeostasis by providing an immediate response to changes in carbon dioxide levels in the blood by exhaling and inhaling. And the skin eliminates metabolic waste like urea and lactic acid through sweating. Homeostasis in the skin is to aid in the regulation of body temperature. Okay, now we're going to be talking about the excretory system organs. Most of these aren't so much organs as they are just small parts, but we will call them organs for now. Okay, and to begin, we'll start with the kidneys. The main purpose of the kidney is to separate the urea, mineral salts, toxins, and other waste products from the blood. The kidney also conserves water, salts, and electrolytes. Again, electrolytes are ions that are electrically charged. At least one kidney must function properly for life to be maintained. Okay, up next is the renal cortex. The most important function of the renal cortex is the production of erythropoietin, which controls red blood cell production. And following the renal cortex is the renal medulla. That is the inner part of the kidney, which contains the structures of the nephrons, which are responsible for maintaining the salt and water balance of the blood. The renal pelvis acts as a funnel for urine flowing to the ureter. Okay, renal arteries transport blood to the kidneys, and renal veins transport blood out of the kidneys. After that is the ureters. Ureters are thick, long tubes that move the urine from the kidneys to the bladder. Okay, the bladder serves as a temporary storage of the urine. The urethra is the tube that urine exits out of, and the urinary sphincters are muscles used to control the flow of urine from the bladder to the exit point. Okay, metabolic wastes. Metabolic wastes are substances left over from different body processes which cannot be used by the organism, such as ammonia, which enters the body as a result of breathing, carbon dioxide, or CO2, which is a colorless, odorless, and incombustible gas. CO2 is formed during respiration. And water. We get our body's water from three main sources: beverages, foods, and metabolic water. Metabolic water is body water produced by cellular metabolism. Okay, last topic is nephrons. Nephrons regulate the concentration of water and soluble substances like sodium salts by filtering the blood. A normal kidney contains 800,000 to 1 million nephrons. Nephrons excrete the unusable substances that flow past them as urine. And there you have it. that sums up my presentation. I hope I wasn't too boring during it. I apologize if I was, but thank you for listening.